4 state troopers got fired because they pursued vehicles that got into a crash or whatever, and they was involved. Let me break it down for you. They caused the wreck to those cars so they could get paid or whatever. They made people crash their vehicles and regain profit from it or whatever went on. And yeah, they had to pay the consequences. For real though. Anyway, they had to face it. For real though. Anyway, so this one woman, got angry at these kids because her kid, said they did something to him. But he didn't say what he did to them. He did all, a lot of, saying a lot of stuff and trying to do a lot of stuff to them or whatever, whatnot. And then when he couldn't even do it, he ran to his mom. And his mom just heard him out. And she was going to deal with those kids or whatever. She went to the park with a knife and tried to go after them kids or whatever, whatnot. And the parents wasn't having it. For real though. Anyway, the police didn't even do nothing. It was just like the parents sorted out. For real though. Because they wanted control. I'm like, what the hell? They're not even doing a goddamn job. For real though. That's crazy. That's crazy as hell. For real though. Anyway. So, these cops jumped on this woman. Or whatever whatnot. For real though. Because it was an altercation, and I'm gonna tell you how the altercation started. For real though. And the cops, just came up to the woman or whatever when I came in the apartment. Her and her roommate doing their thing or whatever when I think one of the cops grabbed her arm and she snatched her arm away, and that's how the altercation started. For real. And these cops just jumped her. For real, they literally jumped this woman. For real though. And this dude all up on her back and all this stuff. And then they were actually just was out of pocket for it. For real though. I'm not gonna even cap. Gang, I'm just keeping it a bug. I mean Shorty and her roommate was up there hollering and screaming at the cops. Shoot. You know what I'm saying? And her roommates had let me get your badge number. And when Shorty said, let me get your badge number, next thing you know, BAM! Dude just hit her upside the face. Smacked her upside the face with his fist. Just punched her. Or whatever, whatnot. He had his weight all up on her back and all this stuff. It's crazy. His partner was getting into it too. Real, it was crazy as ever. And then he lifted her up, put her right on the pillow, smashing her face into the pillow. She up there saying she can't breathe. She can't breathe. He lifted her up. All the other cops came in because they actually came. They I think somebody called them or whatever, I don't know. Because her roommate was call 911, call 911. You know what I'm saying? Next thing I hear sirens going on. You know what I'm saying? All these other cops start coming in. You know what I'm saying? It was crazy. It was crazy as ever. I'm dang. Shoot. For real though. Anyway, this attorney, you know what I'm saying? This attorney right here, you know what I'm saying? He up there, hire this woman to, clean his, driveway or whatever, whatnot. And then he just, actually, got mean or whatsoever when she showed up to do the job. And, he, told her to go get off his property or whatever, whatnot, and all this and that. And she was oh, you don't want me to clean the driveway? He said, no, I want you to clean the driveway so I could get out of here. You know what I'm saying? Next thing you know, dude, went up to her car when she had the door open and then slammed the car door on her arm or whatever went on. And she suing that dude. Real though. I mean, like, dude, it's crazy. That was crazy as ever. Real though. I'm like, dang. Real though. Anyway, so, yeah, I'm like, shoot. That's messed up. Dude out there, like, a lawyer for, like, injured clients, and then he, like, caused an injury to, like, a person that he hired to, like, clean his driveway. Man, that's some crazy stuff. It's really crazy. Really crazy. Or whatever, whatnot. So, anyway, I'm just up there, like, what I'm saying? Just checking out some other stuff or whatever. But, yeah, it's like, it's crazy as ever. Anyway, yeah, I'm like, oh my goodness. It's really something. Now, I'm just like, I just basically went all the way to the phone place. With my phone bill and all that. And I'm just chilling. Whatever, whatnot. Real up. Anyway, it was just like, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, this is crazy stuff. Other crazy stuff happening. Whatever. Whatnot. I mean, like, shoot. It's really something. Whatever. Anyway, so this cop, like, you know what I'm saying? I think he had, like, arrested this, attorney or whatever, whatnot. And, like, it was, like, it was crazy. It was crazy as ever. For real though. I mean, shoot. And I'm up there, like, thinking, like, why would he do that? Or whatever, whatnot. For real though. Anyway, so these, like, kids was, like, playing a basketball game, right? And, like, the other school, like, showed up with a Confederate flag and was up there saying some, like, crazy stuff. Like, it was crazy as ever. For real though, I'm like, dang, that was some crazy stuff. Or whatever, I'm like, oh my goodness. Real though. Anyway, so, I'm like, oh my goodness, that's something crazy or whatever. Like, you just go to school and then, like, just saying a lot of, like, crazy stuff or whatever, like, the kids or whatever, like, that stuff was something else. And this dude who, like, is, like, former cop now, he wanted to go to this jazz place. And, like, you know what I'm saying? I mean, like, actually, he was, like, getting ready to, like, pull up this man's murder or whatever, whatnot. And, like, it's like this dude was just targeting, like, black people or whatever, whatnot. It's crazy. I'm glad they caught him in time, for real though, because this dude had, like, 200 bullets for his, like, blick. And what I mean about that is his pistol. Yeah, he was about to cause mayhem. Real though. I mean, like, shoot, gang, that's some crazy stuff. That's crazy stuff. For real though. They got him, took him to jail for that or whatever, whatnot. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like, shoot. For real, I don't even know what's gonna go on now. But shoot, I'm just glad they stopped that situation and then before it escalated. For real though. I mean, I'm telling you, gang. I mean, I just did something crazy or whatever when I real though. Anyway, so yeah, I'm like, shoot, I'm making sure I check out a whole bunch of stuff or whatever or whatnot, and then I'm like, actually, like, talk about it on here. You know what I'm saying? So y'all can, like, hear it or whatever, whatnot. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, I know y'all gonna hear about it anyway. Real though, because, like, I mean, that's you telling you, that's, like, what I'm talking about or whatever, whatnot. And, like, you know what I'm saying? I'm not, like, try to, like, go ahead and, like, be like, I came up with it, but, like, no, it's not none of that. gang. It's not none of that at all. Know what I'm saying? Anyway, like, comment, and subscribe. If you enjoyed the video, hit the bell and notification so you can see my next upload and my next post. And make sure I make another one tomorrow. And oh yeah, you can check out my previous videos if you like, gang. So long, farewell, goodbye.